Going green.
Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with a new project on the bench, Joe's J-Series pickup truck from the movie Twister. Now, I was considering whether or not I should actually do my usual kit review at the beginning of this, because I did look at this kit a few years ago for what eventually got turned into this. And this is a box stock build other than the wheels, so yeah, I thought it was pretty close, but then I realized it's been almost 10 years since that review. Plus, there are a couple of different parts between it and this, which is the one that's currently in stores, the 10-4 Good Buddy Jeep J10. So we're going to take a look at it anyway, and I'll point out a couple of the differences just in case you happen to have an older kit. So we've got some new box art on it. We got a write-up on the side that they really made small to cram all of the different languages in. On the other side, we've got some pictures of the finished build, and that shows off some of the accessories that come in the kit. Taking a look at what's in the box itself. First up, we've got an all-new decal sheet, and that's really pretty nice looking, actually. Nice bold colors, good sharp printing. The sheet looks very similar to what came in the Stranger Things WSQK van, which is good in that it's nice printing. I mean, you look at the pinstripes are good, the lettering, the lights, all of that is nice and sharp. But that was the sheet that had the ridiculously strong adhesive, so had to work with that. And next up is the instructions, and these have been modified from previous releases. They now have the full parts listing up front like Revella's switched to. This is a fully stapled booklet instead of just a bunch of folded papers put together. You've also got a couple of call-outs for optional parts that were not included in previous releases of the kit. And then you've got the decal guide both on the last page and on the back of the overall book. Moving on to parts. First up, we have a baggie that has all of the windows in it. So it's got the windshield, the rear window, and the topper window for the camper. Plus it's got the 3 lights for the roof light bar. Always nice when they pack those separate. Got the body itself. And I know this is an older tooling, but for the most part, I think it actually still holds up pretty well. There's no really bad areas of flash. Most of the lines are pretty good. The one thing that I will have to change is this. Joe's truck didn't have the sun visor as part of it, so I'm going to have to modify that. But otherwise, this is a pretty good representation of the truck used in the movie. And next up, we've got the camper shell. And this was not included in the Mr. Dead Wrench Pink Poison version of the kit, but yeah, looks pretty good if that's something that you want for your build. And next up, we've got the tires, and these have been modified from the previous release because it used to have some sidewall lettering cast as part of it. In fact, I switched the wheels, but the tires are the ones that came in this kit, and you can see they've got the Goodyear Tracker ATs on the side, and now they're just blank. Kind of an unfortunate victim of licensing, but that does open the door for some white letter decals. Next up, we've got the first big parts tree. It's got the hood, which looks surprisingly shiny on it. We've got the 2 seats. We've got the inner wheels. A little bit of flash on those. That looked like the worst of it. And the interior bucket. That looks pretty good. Does have the cast-in pedals and door details, but other than that, looks pretty good. And next up, we've got the chassis. That's got a spare tire molded into it, along with gas tank. We've got the front and rear bumpers. And these were never in chrome. That was something I did for the Pink Poison. And we've got intake manifold, shock absorbers, exhaust pipe, and some engine components. And now we're getting into some of the accessories. We've got the roll bar with the fire extinguisher cast into it. We've got a nice little toolbox there. Got some driving lights. And we've got the full width grill guard with the driving lights on it. This is the one that was included in the Pink Poison kit. But I don't remember the flash on the corner, so yeah, might be showing some signs of mold wear. You got the rest of the roll bar and the 2 jerry cans. Those look pretty good at least. And then there's the parts tree with the other grill guard. It's just the little one, but it does have lights on it. And then on the other side, we've got the 3 light bar for the roof. And it's also got an antenna mount on it. And next part tree is the engine. Got the 2 halves of it with the automatic transmission. Got the radiator bulkhead. We've got the rear axle and drivetrain. Got the air cleaner. Rest of the engine accessories. Side view mirrors. Got the front axle and drive shaft. And you've got the stock grille. And this is what was holding me up on building Joe's truck for the longest time, but finally got that sorted. We'll get to that in a few minutes. And just a couple of parts left now. We've got the tailgate with the Jeep logo stamped into it. Yeah, it looks pretty sharp. And we've got a little parts tree that has the back of the box with the taillights molded into it. We've got the rear window louvers, and this is all that you get for a back window. So going back to Pink Poison, you can see the insert and the surround are all part of the same piece, and I'm going to have to cut out that louvered unit because Joe's truck just had a plain glass window. And you can also see the jerry can and the toolbox that came in the kit. I can't remember if I modified that jerry can or not, so that might not be quite right. Got the stock wagon wheels, and these are what I used for the center spiders on the Ram Charger a couple months ago. Got the steering wheel, steering column, and finally the dashboard. And so that's everything that comes in the J10 kit. Back when I finished the 3 Blacktop Warriors kits, I commented that Pink Poison was probably the best of the 3 as far as kit quality. It had the least mold degradation, the nicest part assemblies, things like that. And I think you still see that with the 10-4 Good Buddy version of it here. There's a little bit of flash, a little bit more than I remember from Pink Poison, but the Blacktop Warrior kits were released 25 years ago, so I would expect a little bit more degradation over the time. But still, for the most part, it looks pretty good. I'm going to have to modify the rear window, the windshield surround, new wheels for it, and then the big thing is going to be the grille. Yeah, like I said, the grille was always the biggest bugaboo for trying to figure out this kit. I considered ways that I could scratch build it, that I could modify something else that would work. The grille that comes in it is actually pretty decent once you get some paint on it. It looks a lot better than it does just in bare white plastic, but it's still wrong. Fortunately, I found this when I was picking up a grille for the Ram Charger. As it turns out, Fuse Spruce Loose makes the correct later toothed grill, and like their other stuff, it looks really good. And so that takes care of pretty much everything for Joe's Jeep. But wait, we're not done, because now that I'm working on that, I'm going to make this a double build and do the Twister Ram as well. This is something that's been in my stash forever, and it is just the basic snap kit. And take a look at the instructions, and compared to the Jeep, yeah, there's really not much here. It's a decent kit, don't get me wrong, just as a Snapfast, not a whole lot to it. So I'm not going to do a really in-depth, but we'll take a look at what's in here as well. As we do have a decal sheet, and that's got some stripes for the side, plus the badges for the doors and the tailgate, and a little license plate down there. I don't know if I would trust these, but it's still nice to see that they're there. Got a nice looking cab here. Do love that high gloss that they were able to get with these promos. And we've got, most critically, the long box with the single rear tire setup. because this kit was also available as a dually. We've got a really nice looking chassis, mostly. Everything is pretty much here. You got the spare tire, the gas tank, drive line, pretty decent engine and front suspension detail. The only thing that really doesn't look right is that screw hole in the middle. Got a dark gray parts tree, and that's got the interior bucket, plus this bench seat and the dashboard. Yeah, detailing on that looks pretty good. And we've got the glass, which is just the windshield and rear window tied together. We've got a black parts tree, and that has the dash face on it. There we go. I've got the bumper insert, steering wheel, and steering column. We've got the chrome parts tree, which looks good other than the headlights are chrome cast parts. That's kind of disappointing. The bumper insert and rear bumper. We've got a bag in multiple parts. That's got the rest of the front bumper. It's got clear parts for the tail lights and third brake light. And then it's got the tailgate as a separate piece. And we also have a bag with the tires, and these were long enough ago that they've got all the sidewall detail cast into them. Those look nice. We've got the screw and axle hardware, also separately bagged. And then the last thing is we've got the wheels. And I believe these are the correct style for Bill's truck. I'll want to double check that against the movie, but I think those are correct. So yeah, not a whole lot with it being a Snap-Fast kit, but what is there looks pretty good. I've built this kit before and was generally happy with everything about it. Whoa. Almost a disaster there for a second. Yeah, generally a decent kit. The headlights are really the only thing that truly bugged me. The biggest change that I'm going to have to make to this is the truck in the movie was the extended cab, and that doesn't exist in 25th scale at all, so I am going to have to do some fairly major surgery, but I got a plan for that. Get this packed up and give myself a little space here because we've got one more thing to look at. And no, it's not going to be a third Twister vehicle, although I would like to get to a few more of them in the future. Now, it's going to be how I make my extended cab, and that's going to be using this. You see, while AMT was doing all of the promos, Revell was also doing some of the Dodge kits of the 90s, and that included this full detail Ram VTS. Now, what's nice about this, since this wasn't a promo, it's got a whole lot of extra detail on it, like side view mirrors, an opening hood, and for my purposes, it doesn't have a back on the cab. So I can theoretically just cut it right here, graft on the back of the AMT cab, and have my extended cab. I recognize it's not going to be that simple, but here's hoping that I can at least get it close. It also has a fully detailed chassis, which is going to be handy for turning it into a 4x4. It will require some extension work, but the other one would have as well, and there's a lot less for me to have to cut through on this. So my plan is that I'm going to combine the Revell and AMT Dodges into one version that should have everything that I need. Like I said, there's definitely going to be more work than I'm making it sound like, but that's part of the reason why I'm doing both of these at the same time. Is this way, while I'm spending a whole lot of time sanding and filling and doing all of the body work on the Ram, I can also be working on the Jeep, and while bits of the Jeep are drying, I can be working on the Ram, just kind of do them together. Basically the same thing as I did last year with the Vanishing Point Challengers and the Days of Thunder cars, but this is the first time I'm going to be posting two completely different builds at the same time. So that's going to be interesting. Now, the last thing that I wanted to cover here is what I was going to do for the decals. As far as I know, nobody makes a set of screen-accurate Twister decals, so I made them myself. Well, sort of. I drew all of these up, did some test prints, and then had the final version printed at Fusion Scale Graphics. I've worked with them a bunch of times in the past. I've always been very happy with the quality of their work. And looking at it, you can see, yeah, they do nice, sharp details, good color, no registration issues, pretty much everything that I would be looking for. And so, with this giant pile of parts, I am embarking on my summer 2026 build, the two main character trucks from the movie Twister. I will get to work straight away. Don't know which one I'm going to start on first, but I'm going to start on it. You can check back next week, and thanks for watching.